Let me. All right, I'm recording this. Let me make sure this is actually. Hold on 1 second. We may well be streaming. Okay, we are now live. There we go. Okay, yes, please. Welcome back to the ganjaactivist.com Cannabis Conference and Expo series. We've had some a few glitches here and there, just some settling issues, really. But we are now joined with Jason Lane from xVirity. They have a really innovative, I guess, it's an agriculture revolutionary product. It's a fertilizer product. Jason, will you please introduce yourself and please tell us what this is about?
Sure. Hello, everyone, and thank you for attending. A few years back, I stumbled upon a little discovery at Drexel University in Pennsylvania where they had accidentally discovered how to infuse nitrogen into water and did not know what to do with it. They were working on a way to clean fracking water at the time, and they were befuddled by exactly what to do with this. Well, I knew exactly what to do with this, and I knew exactly what this would work very well on. And so I got to work developing it. It was very early stage at the time, and it took a very long time to develop and a lot of prototypes and a lot of money spent. And what we ended up with is a way to use atmospheric nitrogen and fix it to water. And then put that in a bottle and use it on many different plants, including cannabis. Now, what our atmospheric nitrogen does that other things do not do is essentially what is not in it. What is not in it is any salts like potassium and ammonia and any other binding agents that traditional fertilizers use. Ours is simply atmospheric nitrogen connected to water in a process called nitrogen fixation. So that in a nutshell is what we have. But how we do this is we use high energy plasma to split atmospheric nitrogen into N plus and N minus. And if you do this in the presence of water, because of the natural magnetism and negative charge of water, the nitrogen gets fixed to the water. And then what you're left with is nitrates, a small amount of nitrides, as well as dissolved oxygen in a solution. And this is what we call Xvital. And Xvital is our product. We sell it in 32-ounce bottles, 5-gallon jugs, as well as systems that produce as much Xvital as you like.
And this solution is it concentrated? Just throw it on the ground. How do you use it?
It comes concentrated. With cannabis, we recommend a 15-to-1 to 30-to-1 dilution ratio. For example, our systems currently produce about 25 gallons a day, which would give you at those dilution ratios anywhere from 375 to about 600, 700 gallons of usable Xvital. And at that point, it can be just literally watered with. We recommend every other to every third watering. If in Jamaica, for example, you guys have pretty much unlimited head real estate, you could put it on every single time and you could grow some monsters.
But that's what I want to get to. What are the effects?
What we take out.
Yeah. No, well, go ahead. I want to know what are the effects of? I think they're doing some work on our internet. We may jump from time to time. Yeah. What are the effects of the solution on the plants?
Well, because we take away all of the salts and the ammonia that's in traditional fertilizer, the soil benibacteria system is completely bypassed. The plant gets nitrogen attached to water, and that is quite possibly the perfect thing to give to your plants, because what happens is the nutrient uptake nodes on the roots grow larger and take much more nutrients up with them. Then what you get is you get many more leaf nodes and in turn many more leaves, which in turn creates many more sugars, which in turn creates much more energy, which in turn grows a much bigger plant.
Okay.
So in our tests, just to give you a small a crude example, if you will, we literally grew a 6'7" cannabis plant out of a red Solo 8-ounce cup.
Sorry, excuse me. I was adjusting something. I didn't get it. Sorry, what was that?
Just as a test. Now, No, that's okay. Ultimately, we chopped that plant down at 9 feet because it was just getting ridiculous. But the point is, with a nitrogen-hungry plant like cannabis, if you feed it atmospheric nitrogen without any other, it really starts to turn on the turbojets of growth.
All right, excellent. Yeah. So what were you saying to the follow? What were you saying there? Let's go ahead. Adjusting my light. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry, you broke up there. Say that one more time, Omari.
Oh no, I was saying. No, I was just saying. Continue what you were saying.
Yeah. So, cannabis being a weed and a nitrogen hungry one at that, is particularly suited to use Xvital because it literally cannabis is a very, how shall I say, hardy plant. It can grow in all sorts of toxic, soupy environments, like traditional fertilizers. You start to actually, I guess, fine tune
Jason, 1 second,
into the root structure. Magic things happen.
So let's just pause this for a quick second. Do you have the YouTube video on? Because I'm hearing an echo.
Well, let me pause that. Is that better?
Sir, let's speak again. Let me hear it. Jesus. Yeah, go ahead, speak again. I was just hearing a really awkward echo. Good. Okay. But we're good. Let's pause for a second. It's all being recorded. I don't know. Please forget that.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Anyways,
sure.
Let's try to adjust my lighting as well in the meantime. But anyways, go ahead. Yeah, sir. I did not. Do you mind? I did not pick up on all of that. But yeah, yes. Please go ahead. Sorry. We're talking about plant growth and the size and just the volume of plant. Yeah.
Yeah. What happens is because we omit salts and ammonias, the plant takes up more nutrients. And what happens is it responds by growing larger root balls to in turn take up more nutrients. Okay. So what Xvital does is it creates essentially a giant rolling boulder of goodness for the plant, because it does the same thing with leaf nodes and then obviously leaves and then sugars, and more sugars equals more energy, so more growth. So it all starts at the roots. If you can keep the roots clean, and instead of traditional fertilizer, which leaves a whole bunch of salts and ammonia there, the roots just like that better, and that's easy to understand because let's be real. If you just give it what it wants instead of a smorgasbord of things, it's not going to be fat and bloated at the end of the day. It's going to be lean and mean, and people may say, well, you want your cannabis fat and bloated. No, you really don't want your cannabis fat and bloated, because what it's fat and bloated with is toxic stuff.
Right. Okay.
You want it. Yeah, you want it filled with what it wants, not what you're forcing on it.
Right.
It creates, so the Xvital creates bigger root balls, which then in turn creates more leaf nodes, which then in turn creates more leaves, which then in turn creates more sugars. Right. And what you're left with is soil, and this is something that I'm going to address as well. What you're left with is soil that's devoid of the toxic soup of salts and ammonias that traditional fertilizer leaves behind. So when you go to grow next, you still have perfect soil conditions, or at least the soil conditions you had previously, and not something altered, for example, containing lots of salts and ammonias.
Okay.
So it's almost about what we take away more than what we give. Yes, we give nitrogen attached to water with dissolved oxygen, but what we take away is salts and ammonias. So it works on both sides of the equation, and that's what we know now is the root of the supercharged growth of nitrogen hungry plants like cannabis.
Oh, right. Just give me a moment that my internet connection.
I lost you there for
Okay,
a
yeah,
second,
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. We're back. It's I'm in a new location. I thought the internet was going quite well up until now. Are you with me? Oh.
I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're back. Okay, we're back. It's perfectly this morning. Wow. Yeah, are you with me? Oh God, are you gone? Okay, this one. And this is why we record everything, because we can then cut it together and make it look pretty afterwards. I think he's coming back.
Now?
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm having issues with my internet as well. I think they might be doing some work outside. Yeah, you're back. You're with me. Can't hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me? Looks a little
What's
better
up?
now.
Technology. Yes, they were doing some work. I do apologize, everybody. They were doing some work and actually turned the router just completely, and I don't know whether trying to give
Yeah.
the beach some flipping internet, whatever. I even have a whatchamacallit, whatever. It's yes. I do apologize for that. We have some time. Goodness, where were we? We're talking about the goodness of Just
I
pick it
was
up where you
just
want to.
talking about the methods by which the Xvital fertilizer actually works. But the one of the stunning effects of it is the ability to leave that soil the way you left it. You don't have to fallow fields. You don't have to put additional layers of protocols in place to make sure your soil is still good to grow. You don't have to do any of that, because what Xvital does is you water your plants with it, and then what the plant wants it takes, and then what's left evaporates into the atmosphere.
Okay.
And so it's really quite a revolutionary thing, especially for the cannabis industry, because whether your system is soil grow, whether you're hydroponic grow, or other types, we haven't tested it on aquaponics yet, only because we don't know how the fish are going to like swimming around in 15:1 nitrogen water.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, I haven't found someone to test that yet.
Fish, but yeah, I hear you. So
I'd like to at one point, but, because what they're pooping out is essentially nitrogen.
Right. Well, I would. Right. I know.
Yeah. So that, other than that way of growing, every other form of growing, be it indoor or outdoor, could benefit from this, especially the outdoor crowd, because the fields don't have to be stripped of their nutrients. You put atmospheric nitrogen in, atmospheric nitrogen evaporates out, and that's it. You bypass the benebacteria, it's not even an issue. You leave no salts or ammonias in the soil. Nothing runs off into the water supply or the ocean.
I was gonna ask about that right now. Yeah.
Literally, let me address that right now. Because we take all of the salt and the ammonia away, which is really when you see algal blooms and the sort of coastal destruction of too much nitrogen. Generally, if you're in a farming agricultural area, that's where it comes from. But for example, here in the Northeast, the coastal Northeast in America, it mostly comes from golf courses. Golf courses use a ton of nitrogen, of salt and ammonia-based nitrogen fertilizer, and so all the ponds and streams have tons and tons and tons and tons of runoff, and it ends up in the waterways, and it ends up choking the oxygen supply because of the algal blooms that come from all the excess nitrogen and salt and because what happens is the benebacteria in the soil is very inefficient. You throw pelletized ammonia or salt-based fertilizer on your grow or your golf course or wherever, the Benibacteria only really addresses about 50% of that. So 50% of that nitrogen and 50% of those salts and ammonias are just go right into the local waterway. And it causes massive problems. I mean, if our technology was mass adopted across, a large scale of the earth, there wouldn't be that problem anymore. It would literally go away.
Right.
Now it's funny. In the Northeast, there's a lot of think tanks and study groups and things like that. A lot of government funded type stuff that's trying to get rid of that problem. Because our technology literally gets rid of that problem, like, for example, makes it not exist anymore, those people are actually not interested in working with us. Do you want to know why they're not interested in working with us?
Because they get paid if the problem,
exactly.
To treat, they get paid to treat the soils and not
for them to have a job.
I got you. Yeah. It's kind of like doctors in the cannabis industry, which actually which is the perfect segue. And cannabis, because we were speaking and you said that it seems to do exceptionally well on cannabis. Well, talk to me about that and why is that? What does it do to cannabis specifically?
It's very simple. Cannabis is a weed. It's made to grow. Essentially, it's genetically it's the Corvette of growth. It's just made to grow big, tall, bushy, pick your genetic, whatever way it goes. It's just made to grow. So if you hand it essentially super clean nitrogen and a little bit of dissolved oxygen, that is exactly what it wants to supercharge its growth. Right. Because during the veg phase, it needs really very little P and K. It's all about the N. Any P and K it needs during veg phase can be gotten from the soil if you're in a soil grow. If you're in a hydroponic grow, you got to amend your solution. But in a soil grow, the P and K is available for veg. Now after veg, you might want to amend whatever you're doing with P and K. We are working on a product that can solve those problems too. But nitrogen our nitrogen comes from the air. So I wish I could get P and K from the air, but I can't.
Right. Yeah.
So there are other natural ways. What we're thinking about, and then this is not in our product now, but what we're thinking about is product comes out as pretty acidic at a 2.0 pH. If you run it over a certain crystallized rock P and K, you can detach a certain amount of it, but we haven't fine-tuned that yet. It's in the developmental stages. But the truth is a lot of farmers have their flowering mix anyway. I'm more concerned with the growth because whether you're letting it go or you're doing some low stress training or anything like that. We've grown some massive low stress trained bushes, like thick, hedgerow style massive bushes with this stuff. It's very, very, very conducive to letting the cannabis thrive. Look, it works on any sort of nitrogen hungry plant. Like, it works really well on hops for beer. It works incredibly well on hops for beer. It works very well on tomatoes. It works very well on corn. But the problem with corn is it's grown in mass fields in the center of America, and we haven't basically tried to attack that market yet. We will.
Right. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, I'd rather start with something I love and something I know very well. So,
right. No, for sure.
If once we get to the corn, then that's when the magic really happens for us as a company, because that could be huge. But microgreens, stuff growing in vertical farms.
You're mentioning mushrooms as well. You're
sure. Yeah, I mean, of all stripes, whether you're growing traditional mushrooms or psilocybin mushrooms, heck, even Amanita muscata, like rare stuff like that. Mushrooms are a slightly different. Well, they're not plants. They're the fungi is a completely separate kingdom. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that, but fungi is a complete separate kingdom. Fungi doesn't use light like plants do to photosynthesize to make energy. Fungi only uses light to tell it when to essentially fruit. So what you do with how you use our product with fungi is it depends really on your style of grow. Like, for example, if you're growing out of bags under ultraviolet light, you just foliar spray it. It's if you're growing cakes like from jars, like a lot of people like to grow psilocybin out of jars. If you're doing that, then you would soak in a 15-to-1 solution for a day. If you're growing in a tub, like a tub, then you would mist the walls of the tub and irrigate it that way.
Right.
So but what it will do to cubensis specifically is, in a tub grow, you'll normally get 2 to 3 good flushes. In a jar grow, you'll get 2 to 3 good flushes. If you use the Xvital the way I was explaining to you, you'll add 1 flush to that usually. But the big the big benefit is your flushes will be 30 to 40% larger, and it'll knock a day or 2 to 3, depending on species, off your grow time. That's the other thing with this.
I was just about to get to, what about growth cycles with cannabis then? Yeah.
I don't care if you're growing cannabis, cubensis, tomatoes, or microgreens. What this product will do will knock at least one day off of a microgreens grow, 1 to 3 weeks off a cannabis grow, and sometimes more depending on the genetics. Like 1 week safe for something like sour diesel that grows really quickly. But if you're growing something that's a 16-week cycle, you can have that in 12 to 13 weeks instead. So it'll do that with the cubensis. Like I said, it's and other mushrooms, not just psilocybin cubensis. It's genetic dependent, but anywhere from a day to 3 or 4 days, depending on growth style and depending on genetics. But what this will work across all types of plant categories, because the growth is so tremendous that at some point, you might want to just cut it down early. Because in Jamaica you have beautiful headroom, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, you guys are going to be growing some 30-foot tall monsters, and I'm not even kidding. But if you're in a height challenged grow, you're going to get so much growth. I would LST everything, but that becomes a labor intensive process. So what you might want to do in a height challenged grow is just cut early, just cut real early. Put it and cut real early. So that'll just give you more cycles per year.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking in terms of exactly how many cycles per year and so on. That's gorgeous. It's a very interesting product. Do you have any bottles to show?
Yeah. Excuse me 1 second.
No problem. Because it's reality.
So this is a 32-ounce bottle of Xvital. And if you look, the NPK grade is ridiculously low.
Right. Okay. I don't know how to read that, but I will take your word for it.
Well, the one thing I'll say about it is that some people say to me, they're like, how does 0.043 of nitrogen do this growth you're talking about? So you have to get your head out of the standard NPK grading system. I'm not giving you, fertilizer attached to a salt. Okay.
Right,
when they attach fertilizer to a salt, all of that weight is considered part of that NPK. I'm giving you molecular atmospheric nitrogen.
Right.
So that's really all you need.
Right. Lightning in a bottle, like you said on your little thing. Right.
Yeah, it's amazing that it's really, when you come down to it, like I said, this is the Corvette of fertilizers, because it has everything you want and nothing you don't want. Quite literally nothing. I mean, in this latest version that we made, which is the one that we have for sale right now. If I could somehow share with you the water analysis, I think I sent it to you. I mean, I've had people tell me, they're like, this is the cleanest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, right. We'll get that up on the site as well. Don't worry, for sure. We'll put up a nice little feature. And so where can we get this? It's assuming available on your website right now, right?
Right now it's available on the website, www.xverity.com, xvirity.com. And you can purchase 32 ounce, 5 gallon, or a system. The system, I don't think has a buy it now button on our website because, well, we integrate that into what you're doing. So it doesn't have a price per se. I mean, it does, but you know, I can't quote, you know, if you have a crazy irrigation system and you know, I need to custom integrate this. Like, I don't know what I'm going to charge you yet.
I got you. Right on. Because so it'll be like a custom design system, effectively. What you
usually, I mean, yeah. Look, if you just want a system that'll spit out 25 gallons a day, yeah, I can give you that. Right, I mean, but chances are, if you're going to spend the money on this, and you're a real, you know, microgreens or vertical farm or you know, indoor hydroponic cannabis grower, you're probably going to want to integrate it into your existing system.
Right. All right, great, thanks. And I'm gonna try to get some so we can list them on our theganjaactivist.com marketplace as well.
Okay,
I think our time is up. Thank you so much, Jason. Well, you said you're gonna send me some samples. I do want to get my hands on some of that because I want to see what it can literally do. Yep. I've got a bunch of people who are poised who are like, I want to try. So we're gonna get that on video. We'll do it up so we can show people really what it does. We'll do some without, some with, and the people can see the difference right here in Jamaica. And a natural grow, probably it's a greenhouse grow as well. So thank you very much. I've got to run to another session now, but we'll be in touch. And thanks a lot. I think we did great. I do apologize for the glitches. They're doing something else. They just turned it the wrong way. It's working perfectly now.
Technology, look, it happens.
It was pointing at a wall. I mean, you would think you can't go through the wall. It's technology. No, it can't. You know, technology is great, but you can't. The things you cannot do. It's like, wow.
It depends what's in that wall.
Well, there's that too. There is that too. Right on. All right. Thanks a lot, man. All right.
Take care, Omar.
Have a good one. All right,
you too. Bye-bye.